welcome to my channel. Thanks so much for watching. So in today's video, I thought I would talk a little bit about my son, London, and his diagnosis of autism. So I don't usually sit in front of the camera and talk, so I'm sorry ahead of time if I fidget a lot with my hair or like do weird things with my hands, because I just don't talk very often to the camera like this. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about autism. If you would like to hear my son's story, then please keep on watching. So I guess I should start at the very beginning. I have twins. They were born in 2009. I have a boy and a girl. So when I first had them, everything was fine. My son, London, he did spend a week in the NICU because he did have a slight blood infection, and they think it was from him breaking his water, and something in that process gave him a slight blood infection. So he did have to go on antibiotics for 7 days, so he was in the NICU. And my daughter, Lila, she was fine. So we were able to take her home a couple days later. So everything was fine with the babies. They were both great. They were happy. They were easy. You know, they ate like they should. They slept like they should. Everything was pretty much fine. It wasn't until about, I want to say maybe 10, 11, 12 months when I realized that London wasn't really hitting the same milestones as Lila was. He wasn't really pointing to anything like she was. He wasn't walking yet. And, you know, so I would voice some of these concerns to my friends and my family, and they would all kind of say, you know, with good intention, that, oh, it's because he's a boy and boys just develop slower. You know, he'll catch up, don't worry about it. Girls are always faster about these type of things. So I always just kind of chalked it up to that, you know, a boy-girl difference, that he's just not doing that because she's ahead, and, you know, not a big deal. It wasn't like a lot of stuff. It was just a few things that I had noticed. So I think it was around 15 months where he was still not walking and was still not talking. He had babbles and mumbles and would say a lot of, like, you know, just a lot of sounds. And so it wasn't that he was like completely nonverbal. He just wasn't saying any really clear words. And Lila was. She had a good amount of clear words at that point. So I voiced my concerns to their pediatrician, and I basically said, you know, London is not walking yet, and he's not talking really, and, you know, I just kind of voiced those concerns to him, and he thought that it might be a good idea to do early intervention. And so I thought that was a really good idea. I thought there was no, you know, harm in that at all. So as we were waiting, we got on a list for early intervention, and as we were waiting to get into early intervention, I started doing my own little Googling and my own, you know, research, which is good, but can also be like terrifying, because there's a lot of information on the internet that is scary, and you got to be careful with that. But so that was the first time when I was entering all the information and all my concerns. That was the first time that I saw the word autism pop up. And I think in my mind, I just kind of pushed it back, kind of pushed it away. I didn't want to believe that it could be something that like big. I wanted it to be something easier. I wanted it to be just a difference between boys and girls, honestly. I wanted to find any reasons other than something that was like, I don't know, in my mind at the time, so scary. And so that was the first time that I saw autism pop up when I started doing those Google searches. And that was the first time that I found the MChat, which is this online test that you can take that basically just gives you a list of questions that you answer to kind of find out if, you know, you have any of those red flags for autism. And when I filled that out, he did. He had quite a bit of those red flags. And so that was my first real, like, okay, this could actually be like the thing. This could be, you know, what is going on. So when he started early intervention, they did a lot of evaluations, and that's when things really started to come to light, where he wasn't really where he should be. So they did a lot of like physical evaluations, and really looked at his fine motor skills and noticed that he's a bit of a sensory seeker. So he, just the way that he would move, or the way that he would, you know, when he got really excited, he would flap a lot, which is one of the questions on the MChat, but I always thought, like, no, you know, he's not like generally flappy. He just does that when he gets excited. He doesn't do it when he's upset. I don't know. So in my mind, I kind of made it like it wasn't the same thing. And at the early intervention, they, you know, all of these things coming together just kind of pointed to a bigger issue. And it kind of kept coming back to that possible autism diagnosis. So he did early intervention for about, let's see, so from about 15 months until he was turning 3. And as he was about to age out of the early intervention, they wanted to give him an educational diagnosis so that we could seek further therapy and seek further assistance if we wanted to, which at the time they thought he still needed it, and we did too. I mean, he was growing, but he still needed a lot more support. So he got his educational diagnosis. It took about 4 hours, and they called me the next day and told me on the phone, yes, we think London has autism spectrum disorder. And it's hard for me to talk about because that phone call was just kind of the pivotal moment where, like, it was that word, you know, that big word, and that big fear was coming to life. And everything that I kind of was so scared of and so worried about was right there facing me. And, you know, and they were telling me that it was true. And so after I got that phone call, I just went in the bathroom and locked the door and just cried and cried and cried and cried. And I just felt like all of my dreams and all of my hopes and aspirations for London were just kind of thrown away. You know, just everything that I had imagined for him, the life that I had imagined for him, was just no longer. Sorry, I get like so emotional when I talk about this. This was about, let's see, 2013. Yeah, so about 5 years ago, but it still is very like emotional for me to talk about. I think just because, like I said, it was everything that I had feared had finally come. I had come face to face with, and they're telling me, yes, that is the truth. That is the case. So it was hard. I'm not gonna lie. It was very, very hard. It was life altering, really. I mean, I had those feelings and I had those worries and I had those concerns, but now it was just this whole new direction that we were going towards, and it was this new life and this new reality, and we had to figure out a way to adjust to that and make it work and figure out what we were gonna do. So after we got that diagnosis, we decided to put him in a child development autism preschool, and that was awesome for him. He did really, really well. He grew a lot, and you know, he finally started talking. He didn't talk until he was 4, and so just those first words of him talking were just like, it was so awesome, and it was such a good feeling, and we were so excited to finally hear all these thoughts and feelings that he had, and it was just amazing. And I'm just even still so grateful that he allows us in that way. So he just kept growing and growing, and we decided in 2015, so he was about 5. Yeah, sorry, I have to like recall all these dates. So when he was about 5, we decided that we would go ahead and try to get the medical diagnosis, because we thought, sorry, again, I know I keep fidgeting, but so we thought that getting that medical diagnosis would help us continue forward, help us get the services that we need, help us get the therapies that we need. And so we wanted to really just get that, just so we could get him more services, really. I didn't want to go through the whole process again, but I thought that it was necessary to help us in the long run. So we did the medical diagnosis. Again, it was about 4 hours, and the conclusion came pretty much right away while we were there. It was about 6 or 7 diagnosticians with him, and after they did everything, they said, yes, you know, we're absolutely certain he has autism spectrum disorder. But they also gave us 2 other diagnoses, global developmental delay and language disorder. So those were 2 that I was kind of surprised about. Not that they didn't like make sense, but I just didn't really expect there to be more than one diagnosis. Apparently, though, those 2 kind of often go hand in hand with autism. So it was just that extra bit to help us get those services that we need and to help us understand more of what is going on with London. So those diagnoses weren't as surprising, I guess, but they were still hard. It was still hard to go through all of that. However, I feel like it was helpful. It was helpful so that we could continue on with services, so that we could figure out what we need to do for London to help him grow. And so after we got that, we just continued on with the autism school. We developed an IEP, and we just kept going forward with all those things to help London grow. And so here we are in 2018, and he's doing really, really well. He's just the light of our life. He is so happy and social, and he's always been these things, which kind of the social part of it, and the eye contact, and the wanting to be held and squeezed and tickled, and he really seeks interaction with other people, with other adults, not so much kids, but adults he does. So all of that was just one of those things that made me think, like, I don't know, you know, I don't know if it's autism because he's so social. But at the time, I didn't really have a full understanding of what a spectrum autism is, like what an umbrella it is, and how many people are different. It's like that saying that says if you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. It's very, very true. Everybody is so different, and they all have their own journey and their own experiences and their own gifts and abilities and struggles. And so, you know, it's been a huge learning experience for me and for my husband, and for his twin sister, who is just a rock star and has been so awesome. And just, I just can't even explain how amazing she's been with London, and the support of my family and my friends has just been incredible. And there's no way I could have done any of this or gone through any of this whole journey without their support. And I'm just so thankful for it. And I am grateful to be in this situation today, where we have so many resources available, that there is such a big community now of people that we can connect with, and online sites that we can, you know, get information from and connect with other people. And it's nice to feel that you're not alone. And if you have a child with autism, or a brother or a sister, or, you know, a nephew, a niece, whatever, it's nice to know that you're not alone, that there are so many people going down this street, autism street, and dealing with all of this and in this world. And it's just nice to know that you're not alone. And there's so much more awareness and, like I said, resources and all kinds of stuff available that makes everything a lot easier. So we are just so proud of London and the progress that he's made, and we're excited for his future to see how much more he's going to grow. I would love to sit here and say that it's going to be the perfect ending and that I'm never going to struggle with, you know, any of this ever again, because that's just that's not going to be the case. There's times where I get really angry about it all over again. There's times where I feel huge amounts of guilt about it, like it was something that I did, you know, something that I could have prevented. There's times where I get really jealous when I see neurotypical boys his age playing with friends and doing all these things that I don't see London doing, and just feeling, you know, jealous about that. And I go through all the emotions, and I would love to say that I'm just gonna be like so, you know, fine from here on out, and you know, most days I am, but I do have those days where I get all of those emotions back again, where I get mad again, angry again. You know, it comes and goes, and I think just like most parents, you just love your kids so much, and you just will do anything for them, and they're just the light of your life that you just keep pushing forward. And every day is a gift, and I just feel so lucky to have them, and so we just keep moving forward. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope that didn't bore you too much, and I hope it wasn't too awkward. And I thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!